I'm a bad mode, gotta keep it tight. Hold my baby squid, keep him out of sight. Talking about my life, government, stay away. If you drive, I'ma do it my own way. Squid in the ocean, swimming all alone. Ain't nobody telling me where to go. Living free, gotta stay true to myself. No need for interference from anyone else. Squid pro quo, that's the way to be. Living on my terms, setting myself free. I'm to my baby, protecting with my no government intrusion. I control my life.
Hey guys, it's Squid. Welcome to the channel. I am blurry and I don't know why. But it's all right. It's okay if I'm blurry because I'm ugly without makeup, right? Oh, we are going to get into it today. Let me tell you. First of all, I told Mr. Squid that comment last night or this morning about last night because he went to bed and he wakes up before me and there's no way I'm getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning if I don't have to. I messaged him and I told him about it, and I literally just, I just got like an eye roll emoji back. Like, are we serious now? So we are going to get into this. So this is my series of, I've done a couple videos before, one notably on Bruce's bestie, David Gingras, when David went to the June 10th hearing and decided to call the cops on Mike Maricini because he was at the courthouse even though he was subpoenaed. Make it make sense. A courthouse is neutral ground. You don't get to call the cops on someone for an order of protection when they're subpoenaed to the courthouse. So I wanted to see if that was and we think it's a douchebag move, but there's a difference between our personal morals and a douchebag move and whether it actually breaks any ethical codes. So, oh, my stalker's here. Yay. So we're going to get into whether this actually is really an issue with, and Bruce's actions really are just him being a jerk, or if we actually have a true ethics, rules of professional conduct problem. So it's yes, Bruce, but this has nothing to do with the case. This has to do with your actions and whether your actions break ethics codes. Not talking about anything to do with that case except for your actions and interactions. So because honestly, you're not a very trustworthy person, so I didn't really want to give you any yeah, you're a douchebag. So you've proven yourself that you're not a good person. So like, sorry, Bruce, I tried to give you a chance and you done fucked it up. So I'm not anti-Lynette. I'm not anti what the hells. I'm anti you. So there's a difference. Because you keep popping up. No. I have proof. And the police do too. So the police in your town, as someone said, you're not a nice person. Yeah, you have to admit, Bruce, the sound clips that have come out of this whole thing are hilarious on both sides. But so I started doing this as a video because I just wanted to make a short video on it. But then as I started getting into it, it was like, there's just, and because I don't know everything and people have screenshots that I don't have and things that just are over my level of like involvement and give a crap. Because as Bruce said himself, I don't cover it like everybody else, and I got dragged into this. And Bruce, you said it yourself. I have the transcript. So luckily enough, I was going through the deposition transcript, which, Bruce, this is what I don't understand. And can you answer this and actually give me like a true answer on this? Because I know you probably won't, but I want to ask. This has nothing to do with the events of the deposition, but you filed a motion to keep it quiet and keep it sealed, and then you filed a motion to have the transcript released. I'm curious as to why you want both, because you apparently want it both ways, and you can't have it both ways. It just doesn't work out that way. Luckily enough, a lot of this stuff that I wanted to talk about is actually I thought he was supposed to be timed out for 24 hours. I guess not. So, yeah, but either way, I appreciate everybody for being here, all 90 of you. Please hit the like button. And Bruce, I don't hate you as a person yet. I hate you as a lawyer. And there is a reason that lawyers get, whoop, and there goes my light. There's a reason that lawyers act or get a bad reputation. So, 10 seconds, he can cope and seize. Whoa! This is what happens when you have a toddler that likes to climb. She climbs and pulls on cords that she shouldn't be pulling on, huh? So here's the interesting thing. A lot of the stuff that I wanted to cover was in the deposition. So it's a I don't know. Like, I wanted to do this as a short video, but then as I started doing the video and recording or trying to look up stuff today, she's good. She's eating her banana, because she gets one a day as long as she's she's regular. But it's just funny that with Gingras it was easy because the topic I wanted to cover was small. Yes, it's a big case. Yes, there's lots of drama. But I had one specific instance that I thought was very unethical and kind of a douchebag move. And UPS is here. Yeah, doing home renovation in a live stream. Basically, because I rent my house, I don't have a permanent setup, obviously. Mr. Squid has his setup in our third bedroom, and I have my setup in the dining room. So it's kind of like it changes. Things need to be put away when we have company, all that fun stuff. So it's oh yes, and get your Cahoots candles on Rosalind's site. She's getting her eyebrows done or her eyelashes done, so she won't be able to post her link, but we will. Oh yes, she was in her playroom, and there's a love seat in her playroom that has rocking the seats that rock. So she was in there rocking back and forth. She's doing her best Bruce impression. Just kidding. And Bruce, just have a sense of humor about yourself. Like, this is a serious topic, but y'all have no sense of humor. Y'all take life way too seriously. So first things first is we will get into the pro hac vice motion, because that gives Bruce the ability to practice in Florida. And since this case is in Florida, I figured we would start there because of the fact that, yes, he is licensed or barred in Connecticut and Massachusetts. We would just start with Florida because of the fact that that's where he practices. Or that's where this case is. So this is kind of the most important. So yes, he's not technically speaking, he didn't pass the bar in Florida. However, because he and Bruce, I am going to I didn't redact this, so I will. There we go. There we go. Scummy Cahunts. It's pronounced Prohack Vice. I always say Vice because legal vices. And I wanted to call Vice Prohack Vice or Prohack Vices. I think he needs to change his name. Yes, technically limited license, but technically speaking, he didn't. I'm a very technical person. Hey! So technically speaking, he did not pass the bar in Florida. He has a limited license to practice because of this. Hey, fly on the wall. So that being said, he is subject to the Florida rules of professional conduct. So, and I have to finish, because this motion I didn't ever think I would show. So I am working on redacting. It's only a 2-page motion, but the fact that there is, hey Musi, the fact that there is addresses, even though they're public, it's public knowledge and it's their law offices, I still am not that person, because that is, it's one thing that it's not technically illegal, but it is technically against professional ethics. And because I still have to take ethics classes for my career, even though I'm not working, because I still am licensed. I still am board certified. I just don't practice, and I don't think I ever will, because going back to work in a hospital when you have witnessed things through the pandemic that I don't ever want to work for big medicine again. Now my goal is to keep people out of big medicine. So here's the actual motion. So yes, it is real. So I've heard just people talk crap about how he doesn't really have the ability to practice in Florida, blah-de-blah, blah-de-blah. Bruce, this is where I will defend you. Yes, he does. So in a limited capacity, yes, he does. So, like, Bruce, that is where I will play devil's advocate and defend you. You're not necessarily my favorite person, but I call balls and strikes like I see them. You people that say you're not licensed in Florida technically are right, but you still have the ability to practice. So here's my thing. Yeah, and I would rather stay. I'm not licensed in Georgia, which is weird because Georgia's weird. I did submit my application to be licensed, and my stuff is still pending 3 years later. There's like 8 or 9 sections, and like 4 of them have been approved, and the rest of them are pending. And I just honestly haven't. I emailed the state of Georgia to see what the problem was. They cashed my check, no problem. But I just haven't. Yeah, Deborah, that was what we were just looking at. That motion that was approved. So no, technically he didn't pass the bar in Florida, but yes, he can practice in this capacity. But I still have my NBCOT certification, and if I ever start to work again it would be a lot of jobs require that, and I really don't want to sit for a 4-hour test and pay $1,000. It was $625 when I took it in 2014. So, and I know that chat, please. Yes. Yeah. And this right here. So I don't think it's right the way he got involved in this case. I don't think it's right the way half of us involved in this case. And I like the fact that I was listening to clips from where Bruce actually defended me on the leaves and said, I kind of got dragged into this, which I did. And now I'm just covering it because it annoys people. But they had said that something about the fact that I'm not involved. Neither are they. Technically speaking, the only people that are involved are Lynette, John, Jeremy and George, and their lawyers. The rest of us are taking shit way too personally. I know we support these people, whatever side you're on, and you feel a connection to these people, but at the end of the fucking day, if you don't support Jeremy, I'm pretty sure he won't care. If one person says that, like, I don't support Jeremy, I'm pretty sure it's not going to make him sleep any less at night. If Lynette thinks that you hate her, it's not going to make her sleep any less at night. It's not going to change her view of things because you like her or don't like her. Because at the end of the day, there are only a certain number of people that are involved in this case. So I had to laugh when I heard them say that I'm not involved. It's like, well, technically neither are you. Like, I mean, you are now because you're a defendant, but like, technically speaking, and Bruce, you can correct me if I'm wrong, like, y'all are the only people who are truly involved are the parties and their lawyers. Everybody else is just an opinion, and you can take it or leave it or flush it down the toilet. It doesn't really matter. So, like, this is something that is interesting to me, because I heard in certain people's videos, and like, yes, they might have been taken out of context, but they might have not been upset with Bruce. And I'm just waiting for the shit to hit the fan. So getting to that, after that motion, we get to, because of that motion and the fact that the judge approved that motion, we are subject to this. Newsflash, not everyone has to take a side. Bruce didn't need to solicit YouTube help. Yeah, there is a thing of just staying out of it. Like, staying out of it. But the fact that I kind of got talked about for what Bruce described as, you know, when everybody gets together and they go on each other's channels, that was it. And she made one comment, blah, blah, blah. So, you know. Yeah, and yeah. Yeah. So, you know, we can take that. And part of me wanted to record a video of this because of the fact that I just wanted to put my opinion out there and use actions and screenshots against actual professional conduct. So here is the preamble to Florida bar rules. And every state generally says close to the same thing, but there are things that are different in all 3 states. So I am going to thank you. And Bruce, even though I don't like you, I'm still trying to be as respectful as I can. So I would please love it if you would do the same. Because I am trying to do this in a non-name calling, even though names are fun. Like, it's fun to have nicknames for people. Like, I'm sorry, Deuce Foreskin. Like, I don't remember who came up with that shit, but it is funny as hell. you got to admit that is a funny. And see, instead of being offended by it, like everybody seems to be, just make fun of yourself. That's what freaking Gingras did, even though he gets mad about it too, and he gets too happy too. So, and I know you get upset when you are compared with Gingras, but you literally reached out to him. You two are like two peas in a pod. So, yeah. And I wasn't trying to be like playing on words of their podcast. Like, that's just a phrase, a turn of phrase, like two peas in a pod. You literally have a lot in common. And the fact that you both think that you don't have anything in common, you remind me of my dad and my grandfather. They used to argue, and they used to say that they had nothing in common. It's because they're the same damn person. Like, when you say you don't have anything in common with anybody, it's because you're completely alike. You bend rules. And I understand as a lawyer, you kind of have to work between the lines. However, there's a limit. No, I just think that no, the facts still aren't on your side. Like, and as long as Bruce is not name calling in the chat, can we just not name call? Like, I understand we don't have to like him, but as long as he's being respectful, the minute he starts to call names, by all means, like, y'all do you. But just, so here's a few things that I decided to highlight. A lawyer's conduct should conform to the requirements of law, both in professional service to clients and the lawyer's business and personal affairs. Okay. A lawyer should use the law's procedures only for legitimate purposes and not to harass or intimidate others. Anybody see a problem with that? Anybody see a problem with that? Because you go on, and I don't think that they have reached the I don't think that they have reached the level of defamation in certain people's cases, but like harass or intimidate. That's the only reason I'm talking about this case, is because you decided to try to intimidate and harass me into not talking about it, even though I really wasn't talking about it to begin with. I do have your IP address, and the fact that you still maintain that you can't track an IP address is the most hilarious thing, because my cybersecurity guy talked to you last night and told you directly what he did, and you still don't believe it. So I understand that. I understand that. But this video is about his actions in regards to the rules of professional conduct, not my personal opinion. So I understand that, but also I am never one to give someone ammo. And when I know people are watching my channel that don't like me, which is part of the issue that I had, and I'm going to repeat it, and not everybody agrees with me, and that is fine. But in that deposition, in reading that deposition, some of the things that Jeremy was getting upset with, I understand completely. But like, when everybody is looking for ammo to use against you, Bruce set him up and he took the bait. I don't agree with the fact that Bruce asked questions in order to set him up. However, Jeremy, being upset, took the bait instead of just saying yes, no, or look for yourself. But maybe that's just me and how many cases I've followed and how many times a deposition has been used in a court case that I've been watching and has been used against the person, because at the end of the day, the jury only sees what the judge allows them to see. And if the judge says the entire deposition can come in and the jury sees that, not knowing anything else about the case, that is not going to go well with a jury. Just a thought. So it's just me being overly, yeah. Yes, but you were shady and you know it. Like, I understand you're a defense attorney, and defense attorneys are just well, you're not really defense attorney, but in this act, you're asking as a defense attorney. But like, sorry, I just read my messages. See, and when I did initially invite you on here, it was not a setup. It was to, one, have you apologize to my daughter, even though she's 2 and she won't understand what the hell you're saying. But, you know, yeah. And Suzanne, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Thanks for your different vantage point of view. And I look at it this way. This case has been covered extensively by a lot of people. And if I cover it the same way as everybody else, one, I am different than everybody else in general. Like, my personality is just different. Having the issues that I've been through, the military, like, just things that I've been through in life are just make me different than some other people. And that's not saying I'm better or worse, just different. And with the amount of people covering this case, if I cover it the same way as everybody else, what's the point of watching my channel? And I'm like that with everybody. That's why I do that night court. So Bruce, in case you didn't know, my channel is actually like, I cover court cases and like stream trials, but being with her all day, I don't have the time to sit in front of a computer for 8 hours. So I watch on night court, I speed it up, we skip through all the sidebars and all of that and the breaks, and I don't, yeah. So I'm playing favorites. I'm playing devil's advocate because this is not what the stuff is. And like I said, you can disagree with me, but like, I just look at it from a 20,000 foot view of, if the jury is given access to that whole deposition, if the judge says yes, it can come in as evidence. The jury knows nothing about Jeremy. Nothing about Jeremy. And it's just not, it wouldn't, if I didn't know anything about Jeremy at all, and I saw that, it would skew my perspective, which is why I'm just playing like devil's advocate and being like, I don't blame him for being upset. If I was Jeremy, I'd be pissed. However, yes, they would, but they would also get to see clips of transcripts, and if it was video recorded, they would get to see that. And I have watched enough trials to know that one thing in a deposition can skew a jury for you or against you. And playing devil's advocate, this is what I would say. This is what I would say if I was a courtroom, like if I was like a jury or a trial. Hey, Angel, you want me to move that? Where do you want me to move that? And I understand you disagree with me, and that's okay. But I am not talking crap about Jeremy. I am just stating, if I was a trial consultant, and that is one of the things that I would bring up as a trial consultant, having no personal involvement on either side, that's what I would say. Like, that is not skewed towards one side. That is looking at it from the jury's perspective. I have watched trials consistently since before Johnny Depp. Like right now on my Discord, I think I have 10 that I'm actively keeping. Oh, I don't feel sorry for them in the least bit. So I don't feel sorry for them in the least bit. I don't. Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. And I'm not I'm coming at this from the perspective of like non-biased. Like I have my personal opinions, but I try to let just facts. So here's the thing. Getting back to the reason we're here. She climbed under the chair and she can't figure out how to get out. Let me get her out. she's wanting to play. And she needs a nap, which is why she's supposed to be sitting over there so she can fall asleep. Yeah. She got out, but she tried to reach for the ball and pull the ball under there with her, and not all of it would fit. So, like, getting back to why we're here, legitimate purposes is to not harass or intimidate others, which by going on and talking about other people, that's what you're doing. Ready? So, yeah, she fights. She spends half the day fighting the nap. Where if she would just, take a nap, she would feel so much better. We're in the terrible twos. Like we don't want to be held, but we don't want to be left alone or left like sitting on the floor. We want to play, but then when you start playing with her, she doesn't want to play. She's hungry and she goes to get food, but when in her snack container, but when you open it up for her, she goes, no. It's like we're in the no-win situation. So the funny thing is, Denise, is last night I had posted this as a community post to kind of, just make people aware that I was doing it. And I got less than 5 minutes later, I got a screenshot in my DMs that Bruce had posted it on his Facebook page. So I don't really know what's going on. Yeah, it's a no-win situation. I love it, but at the same time, I'm like, girl, just pick something. Like, just pick something to be upset about. Yeah. I wouldn't change it for the world, but at the same time, I'm like, we're upset, we're not upset. We're upset, we're not upset. I joke because I gave her banana because I was talking the other day about she spent 5 minutes screaming at me because I wouldn't give her a banana. We didn't have any. So I made sure she got one today. Squid is giving her what happened in the last few days in jail. Yeah. So Bruce is in chat. He's not blocked. Partially because he is entertaining as hell. So it's starting to sound like a rom-com. It sounds more like a stalker, but like I posted that thing that someone sent me that said, if you lay or if you slide in or do something, if you stalk me anymore, I'm gonna make you my profile picture. So this was the first thing I highlighted because you are literally in combination with the fleas. If it was just you, I would say yes, harass and intimidate others just based on a couple of the IP address traces that yes, I did do. Well, I didn't do. My cybersecurity guy did. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know that knows more than you. Not hard when they say no, then let them know what no means. Yeah, and I do, and that's part of the reason that I let her cry, but that's part of the reason that my stalkers wanted to call CPS on me is because I was letting her cry. It's like she's 2. Like, if I gave in to everything she wanted, like the other day, she threw a hissy fit because I was slicing strawberries for her, and I wasn't using a slicer that we have for her. I was just using a paring knife, and she was mad that I wouldn't let her help. She was mad that I wouldn't give a 2-year-old a knife. She got mad at me for that. So like if I gave in to every time that my 2-year-old gets upset with me for a decision I make as her parent and cries about it, Lord help me, it would be it would be really bad. So there's this. A lawyer should demonstrate respect for the legal system and for those who serve it, including judges, other lawyers, and public officials. Not letting a lawyer take a bathroom break during a deposition, I don't think is respecting another lawyer. But that's just, yeah. So there's that. And then I made a Padlet because it was just the easiest thing to do. And then you have, come on. Present. Share screen, this one. So, probably, but I think they were just trying to intimidate. No, that was just number one. You intimidate or harass others. You tried. You failed. So technically speaking, you didn't really intimidate anybody because you're not really intimidating. But, here we go. So there's this. Criminal or fraudulent conduct. A lawyer must not counsel a client to engage or assist a client in conducting that the lawyer knows is reasonably should know is a criminal or fraudulent. However, a lawyer may discuss the legal consequences of any proposed course of action. So with this, there is the whole money issue. You might not be the one that is doing it, but because you are associated, there is a thing about being guilty by association, because that's what y'all claimed for me, right? That I was guilty by association because those are my friends that I'm somehow like, I think the exact same way that they do. Like, it's just, yes, grifting under false pretenses. Yeah. So she's got a lot of skeletons in her closet and they're going to be brought out, and Jeremy's 100% right. He should be very concerned about that child. I am concerned about that child just in the reasons that I brought up in the other video. And I know that a lot of those medications, and I don't have access to that child's medical record, so I'm not making judgments, but a lot of those things are very expensive. And I know from working with a lot of insurance companies, they suck. So a lot of the things that people need, and this is not exclusive to, this is not exclusive to the little one in this case. This is countrywide. Our insurance companies suck, and they don't like to pay for anything if they don't have to. So if they can find any loophole that says we don't have to pay, we're not. And the fact that a lot of the medications that little girl might need, I don't know how the severity of her condition, not speculating, just in the sense of, in general, those medications and supplements are very expensive. And because some supplements that I have seen are not technically medications and not FDA approved, like there's a protein shake or like a nutrition shake that does not, or that is made specifically for that condition. But it's not going to be covered by insurance. So would it greatly help her? Probably. Can they afford it? Probably not. And that's nothing against them. That is against insurance companies not paying for the best options. So I know plenty of people that are rich that still can't get their medications paid for. I know plenty of people who are poor that still can't get their medications for. That does not make a difference. But I'm concerned about that child just because it's my medical background to just be Yeah, it was clear in the depo Deuce did not do any sort of research into the history and analysis, and that's the thing too. And this case goes back a long time. And here's another thing. In representing the client, a lawyer may not use means that have no substantial purpose other than to embarrass, delay, or burden a third person, knowingly use methods of obtaining evidence that violates the legal rights of such person. This one has nothing to do with the methods of obtaining evidence. This is no substantial purpose other than to embarrass, delay, or burden. So going on that podcast every night and doing nothing but talking, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't timed out for 24 hours. Maybe it was the 8 or 10 or whatever that option is. However, the embarrass, delay, or burden a third person, going on that podcast every night and doing nothing but talking crap, and talking not only crap about the people who, yes, I did. That was going to be a topic for end of stream. Mo was covering that. So if she did an amazing job about doing a video on it. So yeah, short sidebar, when I was in the hospital, there was a medication. It was a heart medication. I can't remember the name of it. It's been 4 years since I worked there. But the payment for it, the co-payment for it was $9,000. This person had and this is why I hate Obamacare, because those plans are cheap for a reason. This person had insurance, but their insurance didn't cover anything. Like their insurance didn't even really cover the hospital stay. So it's these medications are outrageous, and that's a topic for another stream, because that's partially big pharma, that's partially the hospital system, that's, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into that, and there's a whole lot of stuff. But there's been like a bunch of respective rights of third person. Like that third party is very, very, very unethical in my view of And here's another one. A lawyer is required to give an honest opinion about the actual consequences that appear likely to result from a client's conduct. The fact that a client uses advice in a course of action that is criminal or fraudulent does not of itself make a lawyer party to the course of action. However, a lawyer may not assist a client in conduct the lawyer knows or reasonably should know to be criminal or fraudulent. So here's the critical. Does Lynette 100% know what's going on with this money, or are they keeping it from her too? So there's the we have a very broken healthcare system, but the solution of universal healthcare ain't it. We have to address the root issues, and the root issues ain't. Mama duties. Wait one. Thanks. We have moving boxes because we're sort of packing. And she decided to climb in the box and she couldn't get out because it's a big box. So, hey. Have a great day. So a lot of this, it is what it is, in my view, like fraudulent. Like, you are breaking Florida's rules. And no, wait, we have 2 more states to go through, and I haven't gone through all of Connecticut's yet, but this is 261 pages just in Florida. So there is this, and then there is Florida Rule 19. Just the first sentence: this rule is adopted in recognition of the importance of professionalism as the ultimate hallmark of the practice of law. Whether you agree to disagree that you were talking about my child, some of the things you have said on that podcast about people are just, it is pretty much the same from state to state, but they're different as well. And having read through them, we're looking for a house right now. We're looking to buy a house, and our landlords are selling the house that we live in because we didn't want to buy it from them. So it's like we're going to be moving. We just are not sure of when. So, oh, you did amazing. You did amazing. I told you you would. Dude, I told you you would. You're my little brother. Come on. Breaking news, they got the guy who shot United Healthcare CEO in Pennsylvania. So, like, and also, these standards should involve aspirations higher than those required by the rules of professional conduct. So, yeah, and because my grandfather died and I was one of the only heirs, I'm waiting for his estate to settle so that I can get some down payment money. Come here, baby. I got it. You remember? There we go. Whew. All right. So this is just Florida. And it's Florida. Yeah, and here, Megan Fox made a video that I'm not going to show because I don't want her channel to get struck, or mine, for copyright, even though it's fair use because it's manipulated and repurposed into a whole new video. But that's another thing. So here's the thing. You lied on the podcast. You laughed at a 2-year-old possibly choking. That's not professional in any means. You talk about suing people. I am. We already have our lender and stuff. We just actually haven't found a house that we can agree on. Mr. Squid and I have different focuses, and we can agree on some houses, but then we can't agree on location. We agree on a house, can't agree on location. We agree on a location that a house is in, but not the actual house. So it's we're getting it though. But luckily it's the holidays and things are not moving quick in that area right now. So that's that. Hey, Rick Friend, thanks for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate you. It's weird in here. Not as weird as what's in Megan's, but it's weird in here. So I have from everybody's favorite people. Oh, I have to go back because I've been sent a lot of stuff, so I have to search through it, and I did not put it all in the Padlet because it was getting too big. And also, you're not, according to Florida, you're not supposed to use your client for professional gain. You stated, and I cannot find the screenshot right now, but you stated that this would be great PR for your mac and cheese case. So you are using your client to get PR for yourself. That is not how that's supposed to work. That is not how that's supposed to work. So here is, and I don't have this highlighted like the other one, because the other one was, I just downloaded this one. It was online, but Massachusetts rules and orders includes rules of professional conduct and the code of judicial conduct, which I always do too. I was going to do a spot before I decided that I wasn't covering Georgia judges gone wild. There is and I haven't read it, and I don't really want to. You're funny. I'm literally reading what you said and the codes of professional conduct. So how am I? This is what you've said. So you're hilarious. Like, yeah, and I have the screenshot. So it's one of those things of like, am I the only one who takes Squid's word for it or his any day of the week? I try to provide receipts. And the reason I'm doing this on a live stream instead of a different video or a separate video is y'all have the receipts. Y'all have sent me some of them, but a lot of them you sent me in clip form, and I am not going to play their stream on here because they just love to do false copyright strikes, and I'm not even going to take that chance. So so it's just it's just so much fun that I have your stuff here and you think that I'm reaching. Literally comparing your like so rules and regulations at writ of protection. This is a big one. Client lawyer relationship. So there was one section in here, and I thought I wrote it down in another. Yeah. Oh, legal knowledge and skill. This one, this is a reach. I just have to laugh at this one because, like, you know, a lawyer shall provide competent representation to a client. I think Lynette could actually sue you for being ineffective counsel. Like, because you've created more problems than she had to begin with. Like, let's be honest here. Competent representation requires the legal knowledge, skill, thoroughness, and preparation responsible necessary for the representation. I don't think going into that deposition, from what I read, and we will read it fully tomorrow. I just skimmed over it when I read it on stream. That I don't see that you knew the background of this case. That would be the thoroughness. Like, you just, sorry. Oh, thanks. It's a Wisconsin Athletic Club. If you live in that area, you know that that's bougie. And I just had to get a sweatshirt because I'm bougie. So this is Massachusetts. This is where Bruce actually lives. Competent handling of a particular matter includes inquiry into an analysis of the factual and legal elements of the problem and use of methods and procedures meeting the standards of competent practitioners. It also includes adequate preparation. The required attention and preparation are determined in part by what is at stake. Major litigation and complex transactions ordinarily require more extensive treatment, obviously, than matters of lesser complexity and consequence. So, yeah. So this one and here, legal representation should not be denied to people who are unable to afford legal services or who cause is controversial or the subject of popular disapproval. By the same token, representing a client does not constitute approval of the client's views and activities. That one I will give him credit on, in the sense of he may not agree with everything that his client has done, and I understand that everybody is entitled to a defense. I don't have to like it, but still. Oh, and Bruce, I hear James Owens might be able to represent you in the federal case. Now that he's almost done with Sarah Boone. I mean, she got life in prison. So there was one part of, I want to say Florida, that I need to look at, because there was a rule about not providing any more personal information than you need to. And I can't remember. I did not put it in the, I must have been doing it late at night. It's, it involved, providing more information, public information, than is necessary. I have a screenshot right here, and I am not going to show all of it. And I have 80 million tabs open as usual. So I'm not going to show all of it, but it was basically Bruce on that podcast showing everybody's addresses without redaction. Yes, doxing isn't illegal per se. However, in your rules of professional conduct, and every time you appear on this podcast and you put Esquire after your name, you're not appearing as a layperson or a civilian. You're appearing as legal counsel, and which makes you on this podcast subject to your rules of professional conduct. Yes, it is not ethical. So it is not ethical. It's not illegal, but it is unethical according to the Florida bar. And I have the screenshot right here. I don't want to share it because it literally has this Rex Woods, Travis Willis, Deanna West, and the Deputy Sheriff Gregory, their addresses, and I'm not showing that. So I don't know how he has the audacity to deny things when everyone heard him. He must have got his audacity on sale on Black Friday, because damn. Yeah, YouTube Terms of Service also has problems with people sharing addresses, but they only sparingly, which is why even though when I was sharing the motion, even though it was only his law office address, which is public knowledge and completely public, I still don't share it. So buckle up, Bruce. The one who represents himself usually has a fool for a client. That is a good phrase. Yeah, the audacity that you have, Bruce. Yes. However, when you appear on that show as a lawyer, by looking at this, you won't be able to tell who shared it. So guilty by association. Yeah, Bruce, have you ever actually met her in person? So yeah, the YouTube police, since you like to try to be them, so I'm closing this so I don't accidentally share it. according to the motion, Bubbles' motion for a copy of the audio copy of make that make sense. The Jeremy Hale's deposition has been denied. I mean, see, and that is, do the lawyers that I listen to and I talk to has specifically said they would never do it. However, that doesn't necessarily make it, yeah. And this right here, yeah, that right there is part of the problem. So that when it's literally in writing, there's a problem there. One of my best friends in Nashville is a very good lawyer, and I've shown him what's going on with Bruce. He told me that Bruce will lose his license. There's no way an attorney should behave. And that's the thing. That's the thing too. It's there's lots of just unprofessional behavior. And it literally says in the Florida bar, your job is to remain professional at all times. You have one of the most professional professions in the world. So it, and thanks, Rick, for the $2 super sticker. Let me see what that was. Oh, just super chat. No message though. Appreciate you. So, and this is, yeah. Hey, Bruce, do you know that you got trolled? So, yeah. And he mocks people in here, like openly mocking me on my own stream when I'm literally reading the rules of professional conduct. So, and my next video about this will be on James Owens and his waiver of accused not being paid but getting the rights to Sarah Boone's story. We're going to see. So we are we're just going to read this one, go back to Florida. And I don't like that StreamYard will not let me just change tabs. So maybe he already knows he's going to lose his license and just doesn't care anymore. I mean, that could be, I mean, he was the only one that can answer that, and I'm pretty sure you won't get an accurate answer. So this is if anybody wants to read this, it is on the Florida Bar Association website. Sorry, she turned on one of Spawn's streams, and it like scared me because I heard his voice. Yeah, can't fix stupid. He does live in Taking Up the Massachusetts. Yeah. However, I felt bad for messing with those less intelligent than myself, so I deleted Amaya. Surely it's not ethical that he is sharing information with the two leads. Example, the deposition list. JH has not shared all the names, but he is a party, but LL started listing names. Yes, and that is the other, it's that personal information. So this is conflict of interest, but this has to do with multiple lawyers of different, you have 3 lawyers and they're all from different firms. And he this doesn't apply to him either because he doesn't have more than one client. So, So this has to do with conflicts of interest. And I don't think that in regards to her, he has any conflicts of interest because here, The lawyer's own interest should not be permitted to have an adverse effect on representation of a client. For example, a lawyer's need for income should not lead the lawyer to undertake matters that cannot be handled competently and at a reasonable fee. If the probity of a lawyer's own conduct and transaction is in serious question, it may be difficult or impossible for the lawyer to give a client detached advice. A lawyer may not allow related business interests to affect representation, for example, by referring clients to an enterprise in which the lawyer has an undisclosed interest. And this is where that whole this is where it gets up to interpretation. So it's she tripped over the truth. So this is my where your own interest should not overtake the yeah, that I can agree with. Not only will Bruce lose his license, but he'll also lose everything he has. Technically, he has 3. Lynette, John, and himself. Just saying. Yeah. And there's another thing about getting a complaint and actually losing your license. Those are 2 completely different things. So I know a lot of unethical lawyers that should probably have their license taken away, but they don't. So yeah. Gifts to lawyer's family. A lawyer is prohibited in soliciting any gift from a client, including testamentary gift, preparing on behalf of a client, an instrument giving the lawyer or person related to the lawyer any gift unless the lawyer or recipient of the gift is related to the client. So that is where, and I don't have the information, all the information about this, but this is where if I were writing a complaint or referring someone to the judge, I would bring this up. Because is he or is he not being paid? He says he's not. But, hey, Sunset Dark Angel, how are you this afternoon? Oh. I mean, they both have the same nose. Sorry. Just saying. Hung here, if you know, you know. Compensation by a third party. A lawyer is prohibited from accepting compensation for representing a client from one other than the client unless the client gives informed consent, which she might have, so there's that. Federal judge just denied Bruce. Let's check Pacer. Let's check Pacer. Frick, it's supposed to be 68 here today. Six billable pages. Let's share this tab. Present. Show tab. Why is it not showing up? Let me download it. Humble yourself, Bruce. Bruce, I do have one question for you. Why do you always come in my chat? Like, what are you trying to gain besides giving me views? And yes, I do thank you for giving me views. However, like, why? Like, what? Blech. Blech. No. Go dogs. So, Jeremy Hales versus, we know. Order this matter before the court on defendant's motion for order to comply with subpoena to provide deposition audio. That is just worded really badly. In that motion, defendants asked the court to require the court reporter who transcribed plaintiff's deposition to release her backup audio file. At the court's direction, defendants have filed the transcript of the deposition, document 42. Having considered the motion and the transcript, no response from plaintiff is necessary. Defendant's motion, which is unsupported by the citation to any authority, is not well taken. The court sees no need to require the court reporter to release the backup audio file. The transcript appears to be complete. There is no indication the court reporter was unable to transcribe portions of the deposition, nor is there any indication that the court reporter failed to fulfill her duties of accurately transcribing the deposition. Thus, the court sees no reason to require the court reporter to release her backup audio file, and accordingly, the defendant's motion, document 39, is denied. See United States v. Austin, 6th Circuit, 2020, explaining that, quote, when an audio tape is merely a backup to the court reporter's stenographic record, as here, the audio tape is personal property of the court reporter and there is no public entitlement to the audio tapes, unquote, except in certain criminal proceedings. What the transcript reveals is that the only person who behaved appropriately during the deposition was the court reporter. Let's read that one again. What the transcript reveals is that the only person who behaved appropriately during the deposition was the court reporter. And that was my point. This one right here, this was my point. This sentence. And I understand that when you're upset, you're upset. I do. But that was my point. Because this is the judge. This is one of the people who holds this whole contingent's fate in his hands. And when you piss off the judge, that is not good for your case. The judge is the last freaking person you ever wanted to piss off, is the judge. That was my point that I was trying to explain earlier about things that were asked, but also things that were answered in a smart ass kind of way. And not saying that I would be any better. I'm just saying from a 20,000 foot view, and hindsight being 2020, that phrase, that sentence right there is what I was worried about. Yeah. And like, I totally understand. And that's not a knock on, like, that is not a knock on Jeremy. Like, that is just a statement of fact from watching trials from before Johnny Depp, from before Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse was in my backyard. I lived less than 40 minutes from Kyle Rittenhouse's situation. So like, that was pretty much my backyard. So like, I followed that trial. That was kind of one of my first that I followed completely. But since then, I have followed court cases. So that's why I said that. It's not because I don't like Jeremy. It's not because I like anybody or hate anybody. It's because I fucking have an outside view, and I wasn't letting my emotion judge how I felt about a situation. Yeah. Like, I'll even, like, not to get political, but I know this will piss off Bruce because he has TDS. Trump. I like Trump. Great. I think he's good at the job. But sometimes during his last, presidential run, or like his last term, sometimes I was just like, you don't know when to shut the fuck up. You just don't know when to shut up. That's kind of, it's not that I don't like you as a person, but sometimes you just need to know when to stop. Stop. So, there you go. Trump all the way. Do you think this judge will move the case up with all the nonsense going on by Bruce? Honestly, I don't think so. Because not only did he make this timeline, but he makes his other, so now that he put this in his calendar, he started to put other things, like, yes, I understand where you're coming from. Just, this is what I was worried about, because the judge is ultimately the one who decides what comes in and what doesn't. And it's one of those, thank you. You understand what I'm saying. It's just, there is a level of decorum that you want to give attitude with, but sometimes there's just, it's like talking to the cops. The cop could be your friend. They could be the nicest person in the world, and you could feel comfortable talking to them, but you still don't do it. You answer yes, no, I don't know, talk to my lawyer. Like, you just, no matter how much you want to have an attitude or you want to talk to them, you don't, because anything that you can say will be used against you. A deposition is no different. Anything you say in a deposition can be used for you or against you. So sometimes you just need to, yeah. The whole thing was inappropriate behavior on all parties. The court stenographer did their job professionally as she should. I get the JH was very upset, agitated, should have been more professional. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I totally, like, I get, yeah. Yeah, Teresa, I'm getting to that. This is the motion that was just filed. The behavior of counsel for both parties, as well as that of the plaintiff, was improper. Because of the improper behavior that permeated the deposition and eventually led to its termination, the court believes that a partial redeposition of plaintiff is necessary. Given the contentious nature of this litigation and the improper behavior that plagued the initial deposition, the partial redeposition will personally be supervised by the court. See generally Ludwin v. Proman. I'm assuming that's South Dakota, or wait, 2nd District, Florida, October 13th, 21. Sorry. Holding that because of deposition misconduct, the defendant was required to sit for a new deposition that would require at the federal courthouse under judicial supervision. That partial redeposition will occur at U.S. District Court 1 North, and this is the federal courthouse, so, like, I'm sure the address is fine. And it will last up to 3 hours. There's a footnote, and remember, people, we always read footnotes because they're important. Plaintiff's counsel, defendant's counsel, and plaintiff will be required to appear in person. Did you hear that, Bruce? You hear that, Bruce? You have to go to Florida. No Zoom. Defendant's counsel will be responsible for obtaining the services of court reporter to transcribe the deposition. Footnote 2. Because both parties share some of the blame for the need to conduct the partial redeposition, the cost of the court reporter shall be shared equally between plaintiff and defendants. That was another problem. The scheduling of the partial redeposition will occur by separate notice following the consultation with counsel. Y'all have to talk to the judge. Both of y'all have to talk to the judge. But the partial redeposition must occur no later than December 23rd, 2024. You better be buying plane tickets. The court would also note several things that will hopefully help the partial redeposition go more smoothly. First, the plaintiff is not permitted to refuse to answer any questions except for those that inquire as to attorney-client privilege or another type of recognized evidentiary privilege. So footnote 1, 2 hours for direct examination, 45 minutes for any cross-examination, and 15 minutes for any redirect. The allotted time is exclusive of any breaks. If the allotted time proves insufficient for some unforeseen reason, the court reserves the right to extend it. Footnote 2, the room number for the partial redeposition will be provided to the parties upon their arrival at the courthouse. See, this is why we read footnotes, because pretend you didn't read the footnote and you read this, you wouldn't know where to go. Bruce is in Massachusetts. So if that explains any of his Tammy, we're going to agree to disagree on this one because I agree with the judge. I do agree that Bruce set him up trying to get a rise out of him, but the problem is it worked. So, yeah, it was funny and it was true. Rugamama, you're perfect. JH went too far at times. It was funny and true, but a lot of what JH said wasn't needed. I'm sure it was set out of frustrations. This is exactly right. I completely understand from everybody who is here, who is a long-time Jeremy Hale subscriber, supporter. I understand the frustration, but this motion right here, I'm not surprised by, because I literally said that when I was reading the deposition, but I was skimming it. I said the judge is not going to like this. This is, sometimes you just need to check your attitude at the door. I understand you might have it. I get it. I understand being frustrated. It happens a lot. But when anything, there's a difference. And that's why I jokingly around, sort of joking, told people there's a difference between what I'd say to someone in a YouTube video, in a chat, or on the street, or in a phone call than I would put in an email. Like, then I would put in an email, or I would say in a deposition, like, there is, yes, Jeremy let Bruce get under his skin. That, yes. And I totally understand. I get it. I get it. I totally understand what the Hale supporters are saying. I'm just saying, from someone who has watched lots of court cases over the last decade, most of which on YouTube, starting with Kyle Rittenhouse, and who actively watches, when I say I watch court cases, like I watch the entire court case. Every bit of testimony, every bit of anything that's streamed with pretrial motions, pretrial hearings, from someone who has watched trials. Sometimes you need to check your emotions at the door. You don't want to, but you need to. I totally understand being frustrated. Trust me, I had 6 years of working in a hospital, biting my tongue every damn day with everybody. But Shockett could also doing a better job of controlling his client. And I understand that too. I'm going to finish reading this, and then I have to go do mama duties. So, now he has to be, because you can't be a lawyer for someone and a plaintiff or a defendant at the same time. And I really don't know how that's going to work with this redeposition. I really don't. Like, yeah, I understand that the judge, knowing and seeing how contentious this was, should have probably done it, but hindsight's 2020. Questions about plaintiff's business affiliations, contracts, and the names of business associates, customers, etc. are not inquiries into a privileged matter. Thus, there is no basis for plaintiff to refuse to answer such questions. Indeed, plaintiff has asserted claims of tortious interference with business relationships his business relationships, and the impact of defendant's alleged conduct on those business relationships are directly relevant to this litigation and are the proper subject of deposition questions. Second, defendant's counsel needs to focus on asking questions about the claims raised in this litigation instead of attempting to instigate conflict by asking about unrelated matters involving plaintiff and defendants. There's the other half of it. That's what I said. Like, I don't agree with what Bruce did, but Jeremy fell for it hook, line, and sinker. There. The judge addressed both sides. And maybe I think like a judge. I don't know. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to be. But like, that's kind of how I approach something, like a judge would. An impartial, don't know either side, don't care either side. Let's look at, Jeremy was trying to inflict damage rather than just sucking it up and waiting for the court to handle it. Yeah. And that is true. And I think that this is being addressed by the judge too. You also don't want your lawyer to become a witness. It opens up the opportunity for questions that you told your lawyer in confidence. Yeah. I get that. Way too much time in the plaintiff's deposition was devoted to irrelevant information about people and events that have nothing to do with the claims in the case. Totally agree with that. I like this judge. I really like this judge. Third, a deposition is a formal part of a federal court proceeding that is to be conducted professionally and civilly. See Mittner Corp v. Club Condominiums, North District, Florida, 2021. Recognizing that depositions are to be conducted in a professional manner, name-calling, personal attacks, and obstructionist behavior has no place in a deposition or any other proceeding in this case. Experienced lawyers like the ones involved in this case should be able to control themselves and their clients. Footnote 3. But they apparently cannot, which is why the court will supervise the partial redeposition. Everybody in this case is now on notice. If this type of behavior continues, then there will be sanctions. Footnote 4. Those sanctions will not be light. They may include stiff monetary penalties, dismissal of this action, and disciplinary proceedings against the attorneys. See generally Lee v. ESA Portfolio Operating LLC, South District, Florida, March 18th, 2021. Dismissing action as a sanction for unacceptable deposition conduct. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, this is what I was trying to say, and this is what no one, or not no one, but people wanted to argue with me about, because I was critical of Jeremy's behavior. Like I said from the start, I'm coming at this from someone who doesn't care about either side. Like, I don't hate either side, but I don't really care, and I don't really care what you think my opinion is, because my opinion is my own. Like, this is where court decorum, and yes, I understand depositions are not in front of the court generally, but they are still a court-ordered action. So you are still subject to court decorum. Whether you're a lawyer, a plaintiff, a defendant, you are still subject to court decorum in a deposition. And that's all I was trying to say. And look at this. The judge proved me right. So footnote 3, in addition to the issues during plaintiff's deposition, there were apparently issues in a deposition that occurred last Friday. Those issues led counsel to call the court, which was presiding over an all-day hearing during the middle of the deposition. Defendant's counsel has indicated that they intend to seek dismissal under Rule 37 based on plaintiff's conduct in his deposition. See document 39 at 1. The court will save defendant's counsel the time of drafting the motion. Dismissal will not be granted at this time. And then the other was Thomas v. Tenico Packaging Company, or Tenico, 11th Circuit, 2002, affirming disciplinary proceedings against counsel for, among other things, making demeaning remarks about opposing counsel's physical traits and demeanor, and recognizing that a federal court has the power to control admission to its bar and to its discipline attorneys. It is so ordered, 9th day of December, Zachary Bolitho, United States Magistrate Judge. So at this moment, another win. However, it sucks for everybody. It sucks for everybody, and it makes nobody look good. So this was my original point, and I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Like, I hate to be that person, but like, I mean, honestly, like, yeah. Well, he probably, in his defense, he probably saw that there was something posted and went to read it himself, as he should. But I think it's not good for anybody. Bruce lost because no, it's not getting dismissed. Jeremy lost because now the judge called him out on his behavior as well. So it sucks more for Bruce. But and the other thing is, you know what, that podcast, you know what they're going to say about this? They're going to spin this to people who won't read it themselves as a win for Bruce, because Jeremy got called out on his behavior. So when they called Jeremy controlling or rude or anything, this kind of partially proves their point. So this is where I was like, I hate to say I don't want to be that person that's like, stop. Yes, they're gonna 100% claim it's a win for them, and I don't think it's a win for anybody. I think the judge basically saying that the only person, oh, I'm done. That we finished it. Like, keep reading. We're done. It's only a 6-page motion. So that was it. Yes, and I agree. Anybody can be, but they think that's Jeremy's whole personality. They think Jeremy is only rude or only controlling or only this. Like, you can't have sides. Like, you can't have a bad day. And that was part of my original point, was that they're going to take anything. It's about making yourself look squeaky clean while making the other side look dirty. And maybe that's where my manipulative side comes in, where it's like you want to make yourself look like the sweet and innocent one, while you make the other side look ridiculous. And if Bruce would have done that, tried to bait Jeremy, and Jeremy would have just said yes, no, talk to my lawyer, the judge would see Jeremy as being professional and see Bruce as being the one that was causing problems. Instead, now the judge sees everybody as just a giant shit show. And the judge now, if I were the judge, like, when someone is causing unnecessary drama, every time you speak to them or you look at them, you remember that in the back of your head that they cause drama. So you're not as, I had an English teacher in high school tell me, when you write a paper, try to focus on the little things, because the little things are what matters. Because if your teacher or your professor or your lawyer or the judge sees little things, he will start searching, or she will start searching for the bigger problems instead of just, skimming over. They will start doing more research, because if you F up the little things, what more could you F up? It's like, yes. While giving the other side the appearance of stupidity and blatancy and lameness, not generally a good tactic to demonize. Yeah. Yes, and they're both lawyers are to blame, but the person answering the questions is also to blame, and the judge proved it. Oh yeah, yeah, and I'm going to be reading it tomorrow with IT Goatee Brad. At noon tomorrow, we're going to do a 2-hour stream where you know, and see, and that's kind of where I am. I agree that Jeremy's been through a lot, and I agree that most of it is bullshit. And I understand being frustrated. But Bruce, and that's maybe where I don't know, like I maybe having an outside perspective from never covering this case before, not talking to Jeremy, I can still stay, and maybe it's just my personality too, of not being trying not to let my emotions get in the way. That's a trait I got from my dad. That is definitely a trait that I got from my dad, because like I learned you think logically first, emotions second, for better or worse. That's the way I look at everything in life. So that's the way I'm looking at this too. Maybe that would make me a good lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer when I was a kid, except I hate public speaking. Make that one make sense. For those of you who are new to my channel, my biggest fears in life are public speaking and reading out loud. Make it make sense, because I don't know. Oh yes, Gail, I completely okay, this one. I think BBB was trying to get the case dismissed by antagonizing Jeremy. Yes, and I said that from the very beginning too, when we read over the deposition, that he was baiting him. And don't hate me too much, but I didn't listen to it myself, but I heard a rumor that the other podcast said that Jeremy took the bait. So I agree with them. I call balls and strikes like I see it. Like, it is what it is. Like, yeah, I call it like I see it. Like, I'll call bullshit behavior out no matter if it's my best friend or it's my worst enemy. Like, but I will also give credit where credit is due. And even though the judge is pissed at Bruce too, he accomplished his goal, making Jeremy look like shit to the judge. Congratulations, Bruce. You succeeded in that. Like, yeah, this was my fear when I started reading that deposition. This. Oh, and I completely understand that. But that's where shock it should have been objection, asked and answered. Move on. And if Bruce kept asking the same question, I would have said, asked and answered over and over again until he moved on. I would have just repeated myself. Same thing. Asked and answered. Yeah. But because Jeremy took the bait, his credibility went down. And that was the fear I had. And I agree with everything this judge said. There is nothing in, like, usually I even critique what the judge says, how the judge writes, like what the judge says, which court cases he uses. Because I like to also look at these, and I'm having a moment, the case law. So I don't disagree with anything the judge said. Flash fan, I think I have a new favorite judge, and I don't even know who this dude is. So I am going to look up, and we kind of got off topic a little bit on the Bruce ethics thing. But a lot of the I was researching this video, and then when the deposition transcript came out, a lot of the deposition transcript is a lot of the deposition transcript proves the points I just made about professional conduct. Yeah, that everybody lost. So I will put it, I will put it in the Discord. Let me actually do that now. Ooh. So I am going to, what did I, oh, I automatically downloaded it to the right thing. There's my, Come on. Let me download it again. Oh, it downloaded to the wrong place. That's why. I couldn't find it for a second, and I was like, wait, that's because I actually put it in the wrong place. So we're just going to do it again to make it quick. Today's the 9th, 12/9/24. Judge's ruling. Redeposition. I'm trying to name it so when you guys look at the name, you won't have to open it up to know what it is. We read we started going through the ethics rules of professional conduct for Florida and Massachusetts to see if Bruce's conduct is unethical or just a jerk. And then this motion or this judgment dropped on Pacer. So this motion dropped on Pacer. So it's fun. We are and I think, did motions drop in the other cases too, or just this one? Let's go to, and I need to go do mama duties, because my dining room is a little smelly. So there we go. It is in the Discord for anybody that needs it. I am trying, like, for better or for worse, I'm staying objective. Like, people get mad at me, and I've seen people get mad at me, even in my other videos, even my first one, that got like 60 comments, half of which were people saying that I'm like loving Lynette, and I'm like, you know, I don't know everything that Lynette did, and like I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And then I had the other half where Lynette people who hate Jeremy going, you're a Jeremy this, you're a Jeremy this, you're like, I'm like, I literally don't, and I always used to joke around that I was in a case where, Reddit has Am I the A-hole? I was in the everybody sucks here kind of mentality. So I just call it like I see it. And I look at it this way: if I'm pissing off both sides, I must be doing something right as far as my objective. Like, what the fuck? I didn't, before I got dragged into it, it was like, I'm just staying out of it. Like, I'm not talking about it. I will mod for Megan, and, I will watch things on it, but I'm not going to like deep dive into it, or I'm not going to read motions or like put my opinions out there, because it was like, I don't agree with certain things on both sides. Overall, I lean towards Jeremy Hales because, like, this is just some of the stuff that's being said and going on is just straight up bullshit. But like, in general, this is not my monkey, not my circus. So like, it's easier for me to stay neutral because I just don't, I didn't know who Jeremy Hales was until he was on Megan's channel. So like, speaking of, so this judge, he has preferences. So this is the find.uscourts.gov. This judge does not look like I thought he would. I'll show you a picture of him in a minute. Preferences. Unless otherwise stated in a notice setting a hearing, telephonic or remote appearances are allowed with only prior approval from Judge Bolitho. Unless otherwise ordered or requested, proposed orders are not required. Unrepresented party. And I rarely have looked at these federal judges, and I didn't realize they had Jen, he probably went to check. He actually probably went to read that order because, so, unrepresented parties and counsel seeking to utilize any courtroom technology for purposes of a hearing or trial should contact the courtroom deputy and test the equipment. Look at this. He wants people to test the equipment prior to the scheduled hearing or trial. I think all freaking judges should do this. So all proceedings before Judge Bolitho are recorded by the court's audio recording system. Additionally, a court reporter will be provided for bond hearings and change of plea hearings when a court reporter is available. For all other hearings, including civil hearings, parties wishing to have the presence of a court reporter must retain one. That is good to know, because if you don't obtain a court reporter, there won't be any even transcripts of what goes on. And we want Yeedy McYeederson. Gotta love your name. Like, I call Deuce rat skin. So, Patrick, I don't mean to laugh at Bruce for this, but I am going to. This was probably the absolute worst time of year to have to pay for a plane ticket. Right before Christmas, plane tickets are not cheap. Plane tickets are not cheap. So, if you see Bruce doing some risking it for the biscuit, like, Bruce, you might want to start an OnlyFans. Actually, never mind. Or an Only Noses. So he has his whole list of preferences on what he likes in his courtroom. But I am going to show you a picture of Judge Bolitho. He didn't look like what I thought he would look like. I wouldn't mind trying a case in front of that judge. Yes, he can, but he better not come through Georgia. You better find a way to not come through Georgia. Yeah. That's what I thought. Well, he already made a comment about it. What did I do? I mean, this is one good looking judge. I'm just saying. Like, come on. Full head of hair. Florida tan. You know. Just saying. Fit. Yep. Well, I've said only feet before. Like, so only noses would be I don't want to see, like, I don't think that Bruce could make money off of his feet, but that nose. Well, I mean, the pinstripe suit kind of does help the situation. I'm just saying. Is it hot in here? Is it just me? Problem is, Jeremy sees Deuce as an adversary with him doing the anti-Hales thing instead of treating it as just, and I completely agree with you, which is part of the reason that he got added as a defendant and not just an opposing attorney, because now he is an adversary, because he's always been one. He's always acted like one, and now he legally is one. But when he wasn't added to the lawsuit yet, you gotta check your emotions at the door. Like, it's like when you talk to your friends and you're like, I hate this, this person's calling me, I hate them, they're awful, they're this, they're that, and you answer the phone and you're like, hey, how you doing, how's your day going? And you're like, professional and appropriate, and like, you turn on a switch. That's what needs to happen. Like, I'm guilty. Like, I'm guilty. Like, menopause. Like, yeah. Were you here when it said, or when I read the beginning of the motion? Because it's literally in the motion. It's literally what the transcript reveals is the only person who behaved appropriately during the deposition was the court reporter. The behavior of counsel for both parties, as well as the plaintiff, was improper. That is not something that you want that is not something you want in a judge's motion, especially a federal judge. We're married, we're not dead, we're just reading the menu. Like, I can window shop. Speaking of that, for those of you who weren't here, like when I first started this, so last night in my live last night, somebody came in. I have the person's name up, Tam. They said you should probably wear makeup. It was Sunday night after having an extremely lazy day. You're lucky I brushed my hair and my teeth yesterday, which was how lazy we all were, which is why I've done extra work today, because it was super freaking lazy. I was super lazy yesterday. Like, yeah. Well, when the court reporter literally is like, stop, and no one is stopping on both sides, you got a problem. I can only imagine what Alyssa is thinking. I can read though. Oh, and that was a troll. But on that note, I text Mr. Squid this morning, and I was like, because he was asleep when I did the live, and he was gone before I woke up this morning. I mean, he leaves for work at 3:00. Like, I'm not waking up that early if I don't have to. And I texted him and I was like, oh, by the way, somebody on my live last night said I need to wear makeup because I don't look good without makeup. And I literally got an eye roll emoji back, which means the same thing that I thought. And I was like, I asked him, I was like, what do you think of that? And I got an eye roll emoji, which is pretty much the same thing that I have, the mentality that I have. Like, why do I care about what some anonymous person that on the internet says as far as like about my looks? Like, I ain't dressing for you. Like, I'm not trying to impress you. Before that person even said anything, I didn't know they freaking existed, and I still don't care. And Mr. Squid is the same way. That's pretty much where I get it from, because that's where I get the he is where I learned how to piss people off for fun, because he does it every day. That's his favorite hobby, is to just make people angry because they annoyed him 3 weeks ago on a Tuesday at 1:00 in the afternoon. And yeah. And I appreciate you. And thank you for that. It literally was like, okay, like, okay. Yes, Mr. Squid is yeah. Mr. Squid is a giant troll, especially about football. Yeah. I'm not gay, so I can't answer that. Sweetie, I stopped wearing makeup years ago. If people would learn what's in that makeup, they're stop putting it on their faces. I use organic makeup. I use a company called OG or OG. Yeah, I use organic makeup. I made that switch. It was a little intense, cost wise, but like my skin just feels so much better. Quit is hot. You know, I don't see it, but I'm not gonna say no to people who think that because you know beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Today I have makeup on because I actually went out in public today. You know, I had to people today. We made a stop at the bank. Baby Squid made all the girls at the bank like, you know, swoon. She's like their favorite person. Every time we have to go in there, they're like, she's here. Or they see me and they're like looking around for her. So, hey Cheryl, 12 minutes late. So we have been going at it for almost 2 hours. I think we've pretty much proved our point. And part of the reason that I don't have Bruce blocked is because the more he talks, the more unprofessional behavior he exudes. So I'm just giving someone enough rope to hang themselves with. Just saying. So, you know. Not enough to turn you, though, huh? Mr. Squid's lucky man to have you. Georgia and Clemson threw CFP into chaos. Alabama is fuming for not making the playoffs. Oh, my God. This could be a whole nother topic. I might go live for like an hour or so tonight just to talk football. So it's yeah, but I have to get going. I have to go do diaper duty because somebody's tinky. Right? Yep. We gotta go to your room, baby girl. Can you go to your room, please? Go to your room, please. Yeah, she's just looking at me like, no. Ugh. So, on that note, y'all have a great day. Let me see if anybody else is streaming right now so I know where to send y'all. And we are up to 1885. We need 115 people in 15 days. 16 days. Jeremy can behave, but Bruce try to act like real attorney. Yeah, it just that's pretty much where I'm at right now. So I might do a today is Monday, so it'll probably be it'll probably sometime before the first playoff game. We will definitely do a just a everybody in here who likes football, just talk football. They have subscribers. You're thinking about going live, you don't know yet. So I am going to look to see if anybody is live. Let me go to my see if I can redirect you guys someplace instead of just letting you go feral on the internet. And we have 238 likes. 5 people have disliked this stream. You're a free bird, no controlling you. Yes, they have sent the subscribers, and I really appreciate them for that. I know that was not their intention, but thank you. Like it was completely not their intention, but they know not what they've done. Redirect. So thank you even to the 5 people who turned it down. Or let's see. Trial TV has Mississippi versus Harrington, Hidden Love murder trial. Or Baker has 12 Days of Creators. So let's go to Baker. Let's go to Broken Baker. Everybody tell him I sent you. Tell him I said hi. So on that note, I will see you guys either later tonight or tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Thanks, guys, for being here. Bye.